Good day, everyone, and welcome. This is the Real Estate 360 podcast. Thank you for listening in. My name is Jason Myles, and I really appreciate you being here. Today, we're going to talk about how to make $1 million in real estate, right? That can be over the course of the next year, the next 3 years, the next 5 years. And I'm going to give you the tools that you're going to need in this particular podcast in one kind of strategy so that you can get there, whether you have money or not, whether you have credit or not, right? How do you get there? All right, so stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I am your man, Jason Myles. And listen, it's just after Thanksgiving, right before Christmas. I know there's a lot going on. People are evaluating their year. They're getting ready for next year and what they want to do to achieve their goals and all that great stuff. And I am very fortunate to be in a position to, assist people in achieving their goals as it relates to real estate, some business development, organization, those kinds of things. And I'm really thankful for that. I really am thankful to be in that particular situation because from my experience for many years, at least my first 2.5 years in the real estate business, I was going at it by myself and I wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't doing anything. I was actually going backwards. And meeting a lot of other entrepreneurs, and of course you meet tons of entrepreneurs, you realize over time, if you want self-growth, you realize over time what's working, what isn't working, not just for other people, but for yourself. And you learn to be focused. Because, for me, you hear the saying, jack of all trades, master of none. The saying goes on. I can't remember the quote right now, but there's more to that saying, meaning it's best to be a jack of all trades and a master of none than to be the master of just one thing and then you're stuck in a lane. I know I'm paraphrasing that, but that's ultimately what it is. But you think of being a jack of all trades, and as an entrepreneur, you're spread out. You're all over the place. It makes absolutely no sense. You can't give the focus that you need to give to the one thing that's going to change your life, financially anyway, right? And you have to dedicate time and energy to that one thing. And you have to build it and nurture it. And then when it starts doing what it's supposed to do, then you start bringing in other people to manage these, certain aspects of your business so that you can go be the creator, because you might be the visionary, right? You might be the builder. There's a difference between the two, and you need those two to really be successful, because I'm not going to say it's impossible to be the visionary and the builder, but it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And you don't always want to be both. And it's not really easy to be both. But that's another conversation for another time. I said that we are going to talk today about how to make $1 million in real estate, whether you're doing it in 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years, because you can achieve those goals relatively quickly. You can do it in a year. I've done it, and then once you've done it, you can show other people how to do it. You can duplicate yourself, into someone else, or you can just make your next year be a $2 million year or a $5 million year. Give yourself these really high goals. But how do you do it? That's the thing. And it starts with mindset. How you think is going to determine everything. What you do, how you do it, who you do it with, all that is paramount in the growth of your business, of yourself. We sit back and we watch people all the time and we listen to them make up excuses for why they didn't do this and why they didn't do that and who did this to them. I mean, they're just not taking any responsibility for their lack of success. I hate to call it failure, but their lack of success. If something doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means you didn't do it right for what you're doing, the way you want to do it. Maybe you have to change something. We know that much, right? But what is it? How you think, the kinds of things that are going on in your mind, and what you say to yourself matters. That's the most intimate conversation you can have with with yourself. These are the things that keep you going or stop you from getting to wherever it is you want to go, to achieving whatever it is you want to achieve. So it all starts with your mind, right? So you have to be involved in developing yourself, however you do that, whoever you do that with. You have to be involved in self-improvement, how you think, who you're with, what you talk about. All that matters because all of it has a part to play in your success. And if you don't think so, you're wasting your time being here, right? Because you can't achieve, if you've been in a place, right, financially, in a job, or you've hit a ceiling, you're making more money now than you've ever made before, and let's say that number is 50 or even $60,000 a year, and you really worked. I'm not discounting what it took you to get there. What I'm saying is you've achieved something in your life and you're just there. You're on this shelf. You're at this level. And for you, depending on how old you are, that's probably where you're going to be. And wanting to go out and do some other things, maybe you've tried things and they haven't succeeded. You failed at whatever it is. Maybe you tried to do an MLM. Maybe you tried to sell, t-shirts, but it didn't do for you what you wanted it to do for you, what you needed it to do for you. So as a result, you said, screw it, I'm going to dedicate myself to this, to this career. And that's fine. But you have these aspirations that you want to achieve, these things that you want to do in your life. That requires you to give more of yourself. That means that once you get off of your 9-to-5 job or your career, that you're going to give yourself 1, 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, even every day to work on your business and yourself. What you want to do outside of that career. How do you want to build that? You've got to give it. You can't, it's not about watching the basketball game or the football game, the baseball game, or the series that you've been wanting to watch. Yeah, you got to have some personal time. But to be honest with you, if you've got a job or if you're just trying to build a business, it's going to require a lot of time and a lot of energy. I don't care what anybody tells you. There's no overnight success stories. There's just people you've just now heard about, right? Or you just now saw. You're just not getting there overnight. So you have to be mindful of the fact that you're going to feed yourself the stories of success, the thoughts of success, but it is important that you make sure you're around the right people. Because if you're not around the right people, it's a done deal, right? You're done. If you cannot, okay, let me give it to you like this. Here, let me share my screen with you. All right. So right now in your life, let's just say we're going to talk about who you're with. Excuse my chicken scratch. Who you're with. Okay, so if you're listening to this, I'm just doing a little doodle about this. If you want to go to YouTube, make sure you go to the YouTube channel and check it out. The link is in the description and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm going to be as descriptive as I can if you're listening to this. So who you're with, this is about the 5 people that you're around. And I know you guys have heard of this before, right? So you're in the center of this. This is, it's you. You're in the center. And, you've got a circle there, a person there, a person there, a person there, and a person here, right? There's 5 people, right? 5 people that you're connected to. Now, they say that within about 5 or 10% anyway, they say that you are the sum, the average of the 5 people that you spend most of your time with. So let's say person number 1, they make 60,000 a year. Person number 2 makes 80,000 a year. Person number 3 makes, let's say, 25,000 a year. Person number 4 makes 35. Oops, we do that. 35,000 a year. And person number 5 makes 30,000 a year, right? You're in the middle. So you're supposed to be about the average of all of that. So let's see what that average is. So that's 140, that's 170, and this is 60, that's 230,000, right? So 5 divided by 230 is what? Boom. So that's 4, that's 3, that's going to be 46,000, 46K. That's about what you would be making, right? That's about what you'd be making, approximately, give or take about 5%. But that's not where you want to be, because you're probably making, you know, just enough money. You're living paycheck to paycheck. That's how most Americans are living right now. And it's a tough existence. It really is. And it requires you to really kind of clamp down and see where you can save money in your life, meaning what bills can you cut out? What can you do without so that you can invest that money into yourself to achieve your goals? Because listen, this is it right here, and you're all connected. Every one of you are connected. You think similarly, you do some of the same stuff, you go to some of the same places. Your wives, girlfriends, husbands, boyfriends are probably know each other, and you do all this stuff together, and that is it. This is what you do. This is who you talk to, and that's it. And that's where you're going to be. And as your friends earn a little bit more money, you might earn a little bit money, and a little bit more money, and vice versa. If they earn less, you probably going to wind up earning less, because it's the energy that you're putting yourself in front of. It's the conversations that you're having. If you're sitting in this group, everyone here in this particular group, these 5 people that make this money, you all have a similar lifestyle. You talk about the same things. You complain about the job or coworkers or managers or whatever the case. That is the extent of what you do. That's this is your comfort zone, right? This is your comfort zone, and you don't really get out of it. You're in the bubble. You're stuck in the bubble, but you don't want to be in the bubble. You want to break out. You're the outlier. You're the person that says, hey, listen, I know there's more. I know that there's more for me. What does that more for me look like? I'm interested in real estate, right? So you start to, watch YouTube and listen to podcasts, just like this one here, right? The Real Estate 360 show. And you say to yourself, okay, how can I get involved with real estate? I don't have any money. I don't have any credit. I believe, because most people's belief is that I need a ton of money to get involved in real estate. And believe me, we're going to talk about a strategy that'll work for you with or without money, as I said, right? We're going to talk about that. But I want to get through this mindset stuff. So it's imperative that you look at your circle, and it's not that they're less than. I'm not saying that. I'm not implying that at all. I'm just trying to say, what I am saying is that you've decided to do something different, something more with your life, with your time, with your opportunity. But it starts right here in looking at who's in your comfort zone, the people that you spend the most time with, the 5 people that you spend the most time with. My father taught me this very, very young. He taught me very young that, and it wasn't 5, it was 10. If you're hanging out with these 10 people, because of course, when you're young and you're in high school, you've got tons of friends. You get older and the circle really shrinks. But my pops told me, hey, look, you're going to be the sum of the 10 people that you hang out with. If they ain't got nothing, you ain't going to have nothing. And whatever they do, you're probably going to wind up doing. Maybe not forever, but for now. It might be the right thing. It might be the wrong thing. So focus on who you hang with. Focus on where you give your energy, is what he was saying. That's what I learned later on. What you give your energy to counts. But again, this is where you're at and you want to make a change, right? So in order to make a change, you have to put yourself around different people. And if you've chosen to do real estate, you've got to put yourself in the environment of those people that are succeeding. You have to change your circle. It doesn't mean that you're never going to see these folks again. It just means you're going to start spending less time with them and more time with the people that are doing the thing that you want to do, that are living the life that you're striving for, that are having the things that you'd like to have in your life. So you got to go with them. You got to do it. Let's see here. What did I do that in? I did that in red. So let's go here. Boom. So the next thing is who you need to be with, right? Who you need to be with. You want to be with like-minded people that are achieving what you want to achieve, right? So this requires you to make an investment in yourself, to go take courses, to get a mentor, to get a coach, to take retreats, go get educated, take that flight to Orlando or Vegas or California, wherever that person is that you want to see and get something from, go do it, right? Get educated, get your mind right. Start to put yourself around the people that are succeeding. You have to change that, right? So again, we're going to fall back in here. This is you. And we got, your new 5 people that you're starting to work with. Boom, right? And so let's say that you've got someone over here that you met. They're doing $100,000 a year. You've got someone here, they're doing $500,000 a year. You've got someone here who's doing $1 million a year, right? You got someone here that's doing $250,000 a year, and you got someone down here that you met and you're talking to and you're working with that's making $150,000 a year. It doesn't matter what their name is. It doesn't matter what their gender is. It doesn't matter what their nationality is. You have a common goal, a common thread. And in this case, it's real estate. They know that you're new. They know that you're new to the community. They're already doing things. They've taken some education and they're constantly educating themselves. They're constantly on a self-improvement mission, because that's what life is about. Life is about living and learning. Once you stop learning, you might as well just die. So don't stop learning, because you don't want to get stuck, because that's what happens. So these people know that. And they know that if they put themselves in bigger circles, they're going to have bigger achievements. So, and theoretically, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight, not at all. But let's look at the sum of these people. If you're the average, the mean of the 5 people that you spend most of your time with, let's look at what that looks like here, right? So 150 and 250 is 400,000, and 100,000 is 500, and then that 500,000, that's $1 million, plus that $1 million, that's $2 million, right? Collectively, your new group of people make $2 million a year. So theoretically, boom, that goes in this. 400, that's 400,000. $400,000. Now, you might not make that $400,000 right away. Of course, you got to work on it. You got to build, but you're going to get to that $100,000 a lot faster than you were going to do it when you were with the first 5 people, the 5 people that you work with or that you've grown up with, and that's just your circle. You can't succeed without winning the lottery, without putting yourself in front of people that are going to help you succeed, that are going to pour value into your life, into your circumstances, that are going to help you think differently so you can do different and be different, so you can achieve the goals that you say you want to achieve. That is what is most important. That's what I would call paramount, right? You got to do it. And let me say this, that when you're in this circle of change, when you decide to change, it doesn't mean that everyone around you is going to change or they're going to just jump on board. In fact, it's the opposite. The vast majority of people around you, family and friends, are going to tell you that you've made the wrong decision. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, that guy that you're listening to, that he's a snake, that he probably doesn't even have the stuff that he says he has, or she. And that, there are those fake folks out there. I'm not even going to sit here and tell you that those people don't exist. You have to do your research. You have to talk to people. How long has this person that you're listening to been doing what they are doing? Did they just pop up, 6 months ago, or have they been on the scene? All this stuff matters, but you have to do your research and say, okay, who is this person? I'm interested in what this person has to say. I like it. It sounds good. It feels good. But do I want to learn from them? Do I want to give my hard-earned money to them to learn from them? Is it worth it? Will it work? Okay. You want to get involved in tried and true methods. So you have to do your research. But assuming in this conversation that you've done your research or you're doing your research, your family and your friends, that comfort zone, they're going to be telling you that you can't do that. There's no way. You don't have any money. What about your job? You can't do that. You can't leave your job. And I'm not saying leave your job. I'm definitely not saying that. If you have that, you just have to find ways to build your business on the side until your quote unquote side hustle turns into your main hustle. And that shouldn't happen until you have some people will say until you have 6 months reserved. I say until you match it, until you match your earnings. If you make $46,000 a year, you need to make $46,000 before you leave, right? And whatever that number is after taxes. So let's say that, after tax, you pay 20% in taxes. That's, another $9,000. You brought home $37,000 a year in your side business, or you've created, what is that? $3,000 a month, just over $3,000 a month of passive income from the strategy that we're going to talk about next. You've created $3,000 a month passively that you get to take home. Then you can start looking at scaling back at the office. Okay. But until that happens, do not quit your job. Don't put yourself or your family in financial ruin chasing a dream. Yeah, there's going to be a time when you got to go all in. Absolutely. You're not going to be able to build it to $1 million business if you're not willing to go all in. You got to do it. It doesn't happen by accident. You've got to put in the work. None of this is overnight success. Can you get there faster? Absolutely. Because you're going to be working with people that have already done it, like myself. I've already spent 2.5 years trying to do it by myself in the very beginning. I've already made mistakes. Even after that, I made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, learning the strategies, implementing the strategies, how you do all these different things and be successful at them in the real estate world. You don't have to go through those things, because we're going to tell you, here's how you structure, here's what you do, what you say, here's all of that stuff. So you don't have to guess. You don't have to guess. You don't have to make the mistakes. You don't have to go make bad deals to learn how not to make bad deals, right? We've already done that. I've done that. All we do is speed up the process for you, provided you're willing to put in the work. That's what your coach or mentor should do, right? So, yes, in the description of this, we've got courses, we've got all kind of things that you can take advantage of, from, group sessions to one-on-one sessions. And you should do that. You should absolutely do that if you have an interest, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, moving on, the one strategy that I know is going to work for people, with whether they have money or not, is a lease option strategy. And there's different types of strategies, different things that you're going to do in different places, right? But this is one that really, really works out well because of how you can earn money. Now, I'm not really big on being a landlord. Not at all. Not in the single family space. Not a landlord. I don't like rental properties per se, but it is an option. It's a way for you to build a real net worth. But it's your exit strategy. It's your operating model that's more important here, right? You don't have to rent it out and then have to evict people and do all this. You could be you do these things called sandwich lease options, where you're creating home ownership. And we're going to talk specifically about that strategy right now. We're not going to get into too much depth, but I'm going to talk about it. And because it's important, it's important. It's a way for you, with or without money, to get involved in real estate. Now, a lot of people like to talk about wholesaling, right? Wholesaling works, but you have to have time, and you have to get out there and you have to do it. You can virtually wholesale. You can do it all online and speak minimally to people via the phone. But if you have a job, that's tough, right? You got to manage things, but you can do it. But guess what? You wholesale a deal, you make money one time. You do a deal like this, and you make money month over month over month over month over month, not to mention the equity that you have in it. You make money month over month over month over month, okay? Every single month, and you're just adding to it, adding to it, adding to it. So these sandwich lease options are simple. So, and in the market that we're in now, knowing that we have inflation, we have home prices soaring, you're not going to find a lot of equity, even if you're looking at some of the strategies that we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about an easy strategy, but if you're looking at foreclosures and things like that, most of the time people are just going to sell the house if they're that far back, because they have so much equity. But not everybody has that equity. There's different circumstances for different people, and that's a different strategy, because you have to learn to deal with the banks, deal with the people, negotiate different things, different terms, but we go into what those are. So let me be very clear about this one strategy, right? So this one strategy is calling landlords, individual landlords, and saying, hey, I want to rent your property for 3 years or 5 years, long-term leases. And at the end of that, I want to buy it. And they're looking at it and they're saying, because listen, a lot of the landlords today are kind of tired of being landlords. Coming out of COVID, it's been very difficult for people to get all their money, especially the small landlords, right? I mean, it's not just them, it's bigger ones, but you have to have a different conversation when you're dealing with big landlords or big management companies in terms of how you're going to, like, if you're going to go into a condominium building and you want to lease out 5 or 6 places for short-term rentals. That's a conversation you have to learn to have. But keeping it simple, you're going to go to the mom and pops, the people that have 1, 2, maybe 3 rental properties that have had a rough go of it through COVID. And you're going to say, listen, Mr. or Mrs. Landlord, I'd like to rent your property. I'm a business. We're in the business of short-term rentals or long-term rentals, whatever the case. And we would like to buy your property in 3 years or in 5 years. But for now, we're going to maintain the property. You don't have to worry about us calling you about fixing toilets, broken windows, whatever the case. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. We are going to handle everything. If you lease it to us for 3 years to 5 years, right? Whatever your strategy is, and we help you put that together. And guess what? You're going into this deal now, and you're going to lease this particular property from that person. And 9 times out of 10, they want a deposit and the first month's rent. Sometimes they want first and last plus the deposit. That's fine. You don't have that money. There are partnership programs. In fact, we have a link. If you just go to I'll put it in the very first line to this here. A partnership program. We have the partnership program. Get involved in the partnership program. You get the education and you start finding these deals, and we go 50-50 with you. We'll put up the cash. You find the properties, and it doesn't matter where you are, USA. If it fits the model that we teach you, we're going to do that deal. We're going to do that deal. Period, point blank. We have all kind of different strategies, whether you have money or not. Maybe you're watching this and you say, listen, I love that. I have some money, but I don't want to go out here and find properties. We'll still partner with you because we have all kind of things that we do that are finding properties all around the country. People that we work with all around the country that are bringing us opportunities. I don't want to turn this into a pitch fest. I'm just saying, if you want to learn more about the partnership program, hit the link in the description and we can go from there. So now that you've talked to Mr. or Mrs. Landlord, and they said, I would love to do this deal. You've explained to them what it is you want to do and how you want to do it. And now you start working out terms of purchase. Now, landlord, this is an investor. This investor wants to get as much as they can possibly get in the future, right? So they're going to put a deal together. And there's going to be some gives and some takes. So one of the things that I do in this case is I say, okay, listen, Mr. or Mrs. Landlord, here's what we'll do. Since I'm going to come in and I'm going to give you this long-term lease, and I'm going to handle everything. I'm going to take care of absolutely everything. All you have to do is just receive the check. Now, this is, again, I want to tell you that this is just one strategy. So we say, all right, we're going to come in, and the property today is worth X amount of dollars. In 5 years, when we close it, we're going to split that equity. Anything above the price we agree on for today, we'll split that equity 50-50. And that's it. So meaning, let's say the house is worth $200,000 today. Well, 5 years from now, the house might be worth $250,000, right? Now, I'm just throwing numbers out here, but it might be in 5 years worth $250,000. That means they'll get $225,000. You'll get the other $25,000 when you sell it. That's just one way. You can negotiate today's price to buy it from them. Okay? It's anything that you can negotiate. And of course, you're going to start out maybe at an 80-20 or 70-30, whatever it is. Like if I could get away with it and the house is worth $200,000, I want to put it under contract for $200,000 today, but to buy it in 5 years at the $200,000. Ultimately, that's exactly what I want to do, right? Ultimately, I'd like to get it for whatever their principal balance is. And there's ways that we do that as well. We do that in the pre-foreclosure space, and sometimes in the bankruptcy space. We can work some things out there. Bankruptcy is not as easy with this particular strategy because you actually have to go and buy it. In this case, we're talking about not using your credit, not even using your money if you don't have any. Just learning how to put the deal together in and of itself will get you there. And what does that look like? Well, that looks like this. Let's say you're doing that. And you go out there, and we're going to keep the numbers simple. And you go out there and you work with these landlords, and you want to make $1 million. You want to have a net worth of $1 million. But it starts with creating cash. And maybe you only do one deal a month, just one deal a month, because you still have your job and your family commitments, and you don't have another 40 hours a week to put there, because maybe on your job you're working 50 or 60 hours a week, right? If you're on salary, a lot of times that's the case, right? So maybe you just don't have another 40 hours. Maybe you only have 10 hours a week, and that's really pushing it. And you learn how to market. Okay, so marketing runs by itself. It's not something you have to do every day. You just don't have to. You can set it up and you can let it go from there. And you just spend an hour a day, hour and a half a day, maybe 2 hours a day, every day in your business looking at these deals, and you get one deal a month. And that one deal fits the model. Let me share this with you one time here. And again, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm writing down the numbers. So if you want to go to the YouTube channel, which is the Jason O. Myles Real Estate Network, it is linked in the description. You can watch this. This is episode 68, I believe, of season 2. So you're going to go in here and you're going to say, all right, and you're going to work this deal out with them. Let's say that it's a $200,000 is what you did for the purchase price 5 years from now, 3 to 5 years from now, whatever you negotiate. That's what you're going to buy it for. So all the appreciation from that point forward is coming to you. Now, in this case, let's say that the rent in this place was, I don't know, we're just going to spitball and say $1,500 just to keep numbers simple. So if it was $1,500 and they wanted first month, last month plus deposit, you've got to put down, so your down payment is $4,500. Okay? That's what you're going to put down. But if you don't have that money, that's fine. But if you had to find $4,500 to do this deal, would you? Absolutely you would, because let me give you the rest of the numbers. $4,500 down. Then we're going to teach you how to get that property leased out. Maybe it's going to be short-term rentals, meaning like Airbnb, which is great money. Depends on what the property looks like, what it's going to cost to clean it up and make it ready. But we're going to keep it simple and not go over there for a second. And we're going to say that you're going to create homeowners. And so you're going to clean this property up, do a showing, make it smell like cookies and cakes and pies, all that great stuff. And you're going to do an open house, and people are going to come, people that are not credit worthy, but they have cash and they don't want to live in an apartment anymore. And they don't want to rent a house because they like to have gatherings. They want to own, right? So we want to help them be homeowners. So we're going to work a deal where we're going to sell this property to them in, 2 years. I like to do 2 to 3 year leases when I do those things. I like to do 2-year leases, and then there's maybe a 1-year extension or so on and so forth that they'll have in order to fix their credit. They got all this time to fix their credit so that they can qualify for the loan. And again, I'm going to keep numbers real simple here. So $200,000, this is one house, and you're going to do one a month. Now we know that let's say we're paying these people, the owner, $1,500, right? A month. Now, we want to make at least $400 a month, and I'm going to explain what that looks like. So we're going to lease this out to this person. We're going to put it out there for, let's say in this case, we're going to ask for $10,000 down, $10K down, plus $2,000 a month. And someone says, okay, great. Now, the way we structure it is we'll have 3 different tiers. We have 3 tiers of how they can put down. Maybe they put down more money, the payment comes down a little bit, right? And so on and so forth. But to keep it simple, we're going to do this. And they say yes to that deal. Now, that $10,000, they give you that $10,000 down plus the first month of $2,000. So they're going to give you $12,000. It costs you $4,500 to get into that deal. Plus your first month. It's already paid for. It's already taken care of in there. So that $4,500 comes off of here, minus $4,500. That equals what? $7,500. Right away, you make $7,500 plus $500 a month. Now you're on the road to making money. Now, and if you do the exact same deal, 12, and every deal is not going to be exactly the same. Obviously, for the sake of this, I'm just, kind of giving it to you here. But let's say you do 12 deals a year, one deal a month, and they look very similar to this. Let's say on average, you're getting $400 a month per property, right? So $400 a month per property, you got 12 properties after a year's time. You got 12 properties after a year's time. That's what? $4,800 a month passively coming to you. Now, if you didn't have the $4,500 to get started, you're involved in the partnership program. And let's say you got involved in the partnership program and you said, and you're going to go 50-50 with us. That's what we do, right? 50-50. You didn't have the money, you found the deal. The deal makes sense. We put up the money at 50-50. So you're going to get half of that $7,500, $3,750, $3,750. You're going to get half of that $500 a month, $250. If we did all these deals together in the first year, which again is your prerogative, but by the time you've got some money and the know-how, you're not going to want to necessarily partner. You're going to partner as long as you have to, right? You're going to partner as long as you need to put that money in your pocket, because this is what we're talking about for you. Now, that's $4,800 a month that's coming in to your pocket if you're doing it all on your own, not counting down payments. Let's say your average profit on a down payment in this particular case was $5,000. That's $60,000 a year. That's $60K a year if you got an average of $5,000 down per property, right? And then we're talking about $4,800 a month coming in passively. What is that over a year's time? That's $48,000 and then another $9,600. It's $48,000, $57,600. That's $57,600 a year passively. So in a year's time, down payments plus your passive money coming in, that's $117,600. Just doing one deal a month. Now, let's look at the equity. Let's just, for the sake of this conversation, say that there's only about 10% equity in these houses, and all the houses look the same, right? Let's say you did $200,000 houses, and after that 12-month period, and again, I'm being excessive here. I'm saying that we're going to get 10%. You might wind up with 5% appreciation, okay? So let's just be conservative and say that. You did 12 deals at $200,000 a piece. That's $2.4 million. And you got an appreciation of 5% on your portfolio over a 12-month period. 5%. Okay? 10%. That's 2.4 million. 10% is 240,000. That's $120,000 in equity. 120K in equity. Now, in a 12-month period of time, 12 months, your net worth went from virtually nothing, the $46,000 a year you were earning, to $237,600. That's your new net worth. And that's just doing one deal a month. Just one. The following year, you'll be, a six-figure earner passively. And when I say passive, I'm talking about that $57,600, that's coming in over a 12-month period of time. That's a year's worth of passive income. But if you did the exact same thing the following year, just one deal a month, you're doing over $100,000 passively, not counting down payments, not counting any of that other stuff. But if you just did the exact same thing in the following year, you're worth over $500,000 and you've got a lot of money coming in. And that's just one strategy. That's just one simple strategy. Then there's multiple strategies that you can utilize. And if that's something that you're interested in, just go down, hit the link, look at the partnership program. And then you don't have to go with the partnership program. There's other things that are there as well. There's one-on-one trainings, there's group trainings, there's the Ultimate Real Estate Hacks course. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. There's payment options that are available for you as well. There's a ton of stuff. Watch the YouTube channel. I'm filling it up with process videos every single week so that you can take these tidbits and figure out how to put them to work in your life. I'm not holding the information to force you to come and do business with me or someone else. I would love it if you would come on and trust me to work with you, but it could be anybody, as long as you trust them. It could be anybody, and they're going to get you there faster. Anybody that you trust, that you want to help you build your business in the shortest time possible, go with that. I am simply just offering you information. There's, of course, opportunity, but it's information first and foremost. I want to pour value into you before you trust me with anything. And if you believe that, then we'll just do business. But this is what you need to do. This is it. This is it right here. Take full advantage of what's in front of you because, listen, there's a ton of people out here. There's a lot of noise, a lot of chatter, a lot of white noise talking about real estate this, real estate that. I got this quick scheme. Get there this. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not making you any of those promises because I can't. It's not real. You have to put forth the effort. There is no overnight success. Can you get there faster? Yes, as I said earlier. But that's totally up to you and how you do it. But I want to thank you for taking this time. Again, make sure you hit the link below. Subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get notified. We have 2-3 videos coming out every single week. A lot of it is mindset stuff. Well, some of it is mindset stuff, but it's the podcast, it's the process videos, it's the business principles. These are the things that you need to find success in your life. And invest in yourself, guys. Please, people, invest in yourself. Do not think that you can go at it alone. There isn't a single person, I don't care what you hear them say, that is self-made. No one is self-made. It's impossible. It's impossible. You need people to help you get there. You need people to lean on at different times. Like I said before, in every business, there's going to be a visionary and there's going to be a builder. And without those two personalities coming together, it could be a partner, it could be an employee. Doesn't really matter, but there's those two people. Learn the difference between the two, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and you'll see who you are. Thank you so much, guys. Have a fantastic week. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to whatever we do together, and I'll see you next week. Peace.